Well, welcome to Tuesday's Tools on Purpose at the Business on Purpose podcast. Tuesdays are all about equipping you with the tools that you need to run your business with intention and purpose. Our mission here at Business on Purpose is to liberate business owners from chaos so they can make time for what matters most. My name's Patrice Miles. I'm one of the coaches on the team, and every Tuesday I dive into the world of tools because in a world where your time is your most precious asset, finding the right tools to streamline your operations and elevate your business can really make all the difference. So, in each episode, I really try to bring you interviews with experts, share success stories, provide step by step guides to empower you on your business journey. But remember, guys, it's really not all about having the right tools. It's about actually using them. So today's topic is SALT training, and I'm super excited to introduce you all to Liz and Kate with Coastal Shores out of Bluffton, South Carolina. Guys, welcome to the podcast. Tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for having us. My name is Kate. This is Liz. And yeah, we are with Coastal Shores in the low country of South Carolina in Bluffton. And to give a brief introduction, my primary role with our company is with customer care. So I'm the primary channel. We were just talking kind of the waterway between our customers and our field team, just making sure they're taken great care of and we can proactively service their needs. On the side, I do live here in Bluffton. I've been with Coastal Shores for about 3 years. Got married almost 1 year ago. We're getting ready to celebrate our 1 year anniversary.
Wow.
Yes, building a house and planting roots. So an exciting season.
Yay.
My husband's a firefighter with Bluffton, and we love being a part of this community.
Yeah, so fun. My name is Liz. I have been with Coastal Shores what feels like my whole life. This is my parents' business that I'm so lucky to be a part of, but I've formally been on the team about 3 years as well, a little more than that. And in my off time, I'm a mom to toddler triplets, so I'm always
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's lots of fun. All girls, people always ask. And I'm married to a pastor, so we are just going all the time. And my role here at Coastal Shores, my title is Director of Culture and Implementation. And really, that's just taking the vision that's being set forward and practically putting that into life. So whatever our next big thing that we want to do is, I'm helping, make that a reality and implement that into the company.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Well, tell us, what is SALT training?
Yeah, so a lot of people think it's quite the funny name, but SALT is just a good old acronym. It stands for, our S is for safety and sales, A is for application, L is for life and leadership, and then T is for team. So SALT, and each of those is associated with a different week of the month. So first week of the month is S, second week A, L, T, so on. And really, SALT, it's just our weekly training program for our entire team. I love that you talked about the time at the beginning, Patrice, because that's just something that we saw a need for. And we said, we're done talking about it. We have to just make the time to do this. So it takes place every Wednesday for us for 30 to 45 minutes at the start of our workday. Our entire team, our office team, our leadership team, our field team is a part of it. So we have about 30 people that we gather and we train. Marinates, personal and professional. So sometimes we're talking about, how to be a great parent. Other times we're talking about this is how you weed a lawn, or we're bringing in someone that's a professional or a leadership coach or something to that degree and talking through that. So yeah, that's the basic skeleton of what SALT is.
Yeah, that's great. And I love the acronym. So it was S is for safety and sales, the A is for application, and then the L was for life and leadership, and then the T was for team.
Yes.
I love it. And then every week you all touch on one of those topics depending on what time of the week it is. And how many people are normally in these trainings?
Yeah, we have about 30 people in our trainings.
Wow.
So it's grown so much that we've bought an additional or rented an additional part of our building to where we have a room now. And it's set up similar to a classroom. It has pictures and visuals all around it. And we gather in there. We're actually in it right now. You see our team board behind us.
Oh, awesome.
A platform. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me, so how do you actually use this in the business? I know you've kind of told us what it is.
For sure. So SALT is a platform for us to really train our team, to empower them, and to live out what our culture is here at Coastal Shores. We talk about in BOP our mission, vision, values all the time. So our mission here at Coastal Shores is shaping our community with premium service, and we live that out through being premium, empower, generosity, and reputation. And this gives us a chance to really put that into our field team and not just live that out in our community that we're serving. So it gives us the space to address issues, but also celebrate wins, to build our culture and talk through what our core values are, live them out. Really, we're empowering our team by giving them tools that they can use in the field, but at home. And then also just outpouring what our core values are. Do you have anything to add to that, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely. So what it does is it creates this structure so that we can be very intentional. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about our calendar in a second, but not only does the SALT acronym kind of lay the foundation for that, but it gives us a space where we already have kind of built in that time, and there is intentionality beside every end that we select within it, and it all ties back to our core values. So those are the kind of the seeds that we're planting, and then we're watering it weekly. We're investing that time weekly, and that's where we see the fruit of our culture really come to be. So.
I love that. I love hearing that the seeds is your core values and you're watering that with the training. And then, of course, you get to see that amazing fruit, which I'm sure just makes for an amazing culture. Is there any best practices or anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
Yeah. So there are definitely some key practical elements that we have found are so important. And I think it's important to mention, too, that these elements are fluid. So they've given us a great springboard. But since we last spoke on this topic at BOP, it's amazing to see kind of where the rubber hits the road. And just like there are things that I felt so confident about that we were talking about there that we've really had to revisit and just drill back on again, because we are always considering, like, is this really effectively working? So one big element that we use, that we build from, is our SALT calendar. So that's the tool that gives us the space to approach 52 trainings, which can feel really overwhelming when you consider, where do you begin with that? So the SALT acronym is a big part of that. So we literally build out for those 4 weeks every month. We know exactly where we're going to start from. And so that helps us determine the dates of the meeting, the topics that we're going to cover, and who's going to speak on those things. And so we found it's just important to start building that out well in advance. So we'll meet as a team in late fall, and we'll be building out next year's calendar. And it doesn't mean that you have to have all the nuts and bolts figured out, but it makes sure that we're starting from a good spot so that we can work proactively and work in advance. So yeah, building that calendar out in advance.
Yeah, and really when you think about it, it's 12 of each of those letters.
That's right.
When we sit down as a team and we're like, oh my goodness, we only have 12 times to talk about safety. Well, that's really big in our industry.
How do you pick just 12 topics versus the overwhelm of how do I come up with
52 trainings?
Yes,
so
that's really true.
It's become really a good tool for us. And we sometimes even start building out years in advance, because we're like, oh, well, we can hit this in 2 years.
One thing that we just introduced here recently, too, is taking our existing SALT calendar that we're working through this year, and we've picked our topics. Well, now we're actively covering those things. And so we've started linking back within, it's just a Google Sheet spreadsheet that we use, but we're linking back our presentation slides. So next year, when we're covering again certain topics that are just pillars in our industry, we know where to go to easily find, how did we approach that last year? What worked, what didn't work? So you're not starting over. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. It gives you that you can build upon. So yes, we found there's a lot of value in that. The other thing that the SALT calendar holds us accountable for is communicating in advance. So it's so easy. We're all busy, and we all are plagued with this idea, like, how do I have enough time to do it? So we've decided this is important. So we want to do it well. And so one thing that I'm responsible for is just making sure that we're communicating in advance with the speakers in regards to their topic. So we work a month out at least, not only whether it's internal speakers or external speakers. And one thing we found we really have to do is get content at least 2 weeks out. So that we can, one thing we're creating now are custom handouts for our team so that we keep them engaged during SALT training, but those have to be created. So just working ahead, and whatever that looks like for your company, for us, we need to be working 2 weeks out. So I can pass that to Liz. She's our creative, and she needs the space and capacity to be able to put that together so that we can get it to the speaker so they have time to make sure they're prepared. So really considering the runway and not rushing into it, because that translates. Our team can tell when we hurried, when we were rushed, and we really didn't prepare for them. So communicating in advance and utilizing that calendar just to make sure that you're organized.
Yeah. And I'll say this, talking about speakers, I think at first when we started talking about SALT, it was super overwhelming to think, holy cow, I have to
Yeah.
speak topic. Well,
Yes.
we're the experts in this industry, right? So, or we want to be the experts. So, if we're talking about safety, once we build out our agenda, which I know Kate will talk to a little bit, 15 minutes talking about a safety topic, and we're drilling down. Maybe it's ladder safety today. Well, great. Let's just talk about ladder safety, or let's bring in someone we know who does that really well. And when we break it out from our office team and our leadership team, it's who's gifted in this, who's good at this, who knows this topic well. Great. Well, let's let them talk
Empower
about
them
it.
yes.
So that's been really good for us. Or can we bring someone from our field team in and use them as an example? Can we bring in one of our vendors and let them speak to this? So really just, who's the expert in this? Who knows this well? And can they talk about it for 15 minutes? Well, most people can talk about something they know well for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's made it less overwhelming for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really sharing the responsibility, delegating, and remembering that we are a team and that no one person or two people have to carry this. So this isn't just Liz and I. But again, that's the importance of working ahead so that you can give people the opportunity to be involved and give them the space to prepare and to ask them to help. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And Liz, you mentioned agendas. So I would say that would be another element when we think about preparation that's so important.
Yes.
So just like we run our leadership meetings, they're from an agenda, we've incorporated that same structure to SALT training. So, and I think it accomplishes a couple things. Not only does it give you that flow, you know exactly what to expect, but it also is the roadmap just to keep us accountable for our time. So Liz mentioned early on, 30 minutes is kind of our goal for training because we need to get our teams rolled out. And this already delays their start for the day. So we need to be responsible and efficient with our time in that regard. We've actually started putting a time allocation for every single element on our agenda. And I look at that, and we've had times where we've had to stop our application training where we're talking about fertilizer because we're at our time, and that's as much as we have an opportunity to cover today because we want to show our team that we respect them and their time as well and their responsibilities for the day. So using that agenda from an accountability standpoint, and it also guards us from trying to fit too much in. So Liz was just saying, ladder safety. We don't have to teach the whole book on ladder safety, but what are the main takeaways that we want our team to get from that? And so we're thinking about that from an agenda standpoint and the time that we do have allocated. And then we utilize our handout to really hold us to making sure that we don't go on tangents and start covering things that we really didn't mean to. So all of these elements kind of work together to help us orchestrate from the plan that we set in place in advance.
Yeah. Do you want to give an example of some other things that we do in SALT besides just teaching?
Yes. So we're always starting every single training with an icebreaker, and we do that. We start 5 minutes early. So we're trying to get our guys in the seats. We're trying to incorporate fun. We definitely have, as every group does, some competitors. So it's fun to see those personalities. And honestly, when we think about our field team, this may be the only time that day or that week that they can really let their hair down and have fun and see that side of their personality come out. So we love that. And we always like to start. And whether it's something so simple as paper, rock, scissors, we love shooting dart guns, paper
That's
airplanes.
awesome.
Doesn't have to be complicated, but it always is a good way just to get them warmed up and loosened up in the morning and having some fun. And then we always transition to big wins and just really drilling the emphasis on gratitude. And that's a big part of our culture. And so we're always going to start with icebreaker. We're always going to do big wins before we transition into some of our other just reoccur elements. So those are big. We also love to celebrate. That's one of Liz's big focuses is celebrating our team and that side of our culture.
Yeah, just, whose anniversaries can we celebrate? And when we talk about anniversaries, it's, their tenure with the company, but also who's been married for a year, different anniversaries like that. We celebrate birthdays. We'll do who hasn't been tardy in this past month, who has not have any absences, and just different ways that we can celebrate in that way. And then another way that we celebrate is we nominate each other for different company awards. So it's just team members being like, hey, last week I saw this team member do this, and that was showing off our core value of reputation. And it's really cool. At first it was really quiet in the room when we started doing that. we have to limit that time because people just love hyping each other up, giving each other fist bumps. And it's a really special time that, we can call out what we see in the field team, but also it's the field team calling out each other.
Yeah.
It's them. And then it's all filtered through. We ask them all to tie it back to one of our core values. So you saw this person do that. What does that show off? Which core value does that show off? So that's been a really fun part of our SALT training too, that we do each week. And again, if you're starting this new, it's going to be really awkward and uncomfortable at first. The picture that I love to share sometimes is of our first SALT training. It was in our dark warehouse. It was all of us in a circle, and that was it. And really, it was going off kind of on a tangent about something that we saw that was bothering us. And now it's turned into really equipping our team, a special time that we look forward to, and we have a whole space for it. So it's not starting with a classroom and a whole built out training. It's starting with, hey, let's meet together on this day. We're going to talk about something. We're going to celebrate a little bit, and then we're just going to go on with our day. And then just setting that on everyone's calendars and setting expectations moving forward. Kate talked a little bit about handouts. Our expectation is we're going to teach you, but you need to write it down. And you need to be engaged. Cell phones are not allowed. AirPods, taken out. We know you're tired. We're going to start with an icebreaker to try to get everything moving. We provide coffee if you want it. We also stock a fridge with just some drinks and some snacks that everyone's welcome to try to get our minds engaged. But I think just preparing for this is going to be uncomfortable because it's new. And a lot of new things are uncomfortable, but it also is going to plant the seed for something really special that your company can have. And then I would just say just frequently evaluating what SALT is. We've done different things. We had it on Thursday mornings and now it's on Wednesdays. We've added different elements to our agenda. We've even changed up SALT in the years of what that stood for, just based on the season and the feedback that we've received. So be ready to ask, what is good and what is stale, and not just your leadership or your office team that's running. Ask your field team that too. We do anonymous surveys at the end of every month, and we include this as part of that survey. Just what are you getting out of it? Is it empowering to you? Do you think it's beneficial and a great part of your day when we do that? And instead of taking those answers offensively, really use them to catapult your training to something new. We're asking for feedback, so don't be mad when we receive it. Instead use that to your advantage, and we frequently do that. What's good? Even what are you seeing in the field that we could train on or address in training?
Love that.
And then we look at frequently, what's upcoming that we need to train on. In our industry, we kind of go in seasons. We have a growing season and a dormant season because we're landscapers. So, what season are we coming into that we can prepare our team for? Are we on, our maintenance teams? Are we about to put out a fertilizer? Well, let's train to make sure we're all doing that in a uniform way. That's the Coastal Shores way and not Liz's way and Kate's way and all of our properties looking different. So just an example of some things that we're doing. And then also just making sure we're not just talking on whatever the fire is right thing. Really easy to stand up there on the receiving end of things and be like, you guys sucked at this last week. We need to talk about 15 phone calls about this. We're going to grill you guys right now. That's not what this time's for, because guess what? No one's going to want to show up at 7 a.m. for work just to be grilled. But what they are going to want to show up for is a time that they can celebrate. They know that they're going to be poured into, and it's a time really to build on team morale. So of course there are some times during announcements that we need to make a general announcement to the team. We have everyone together, we need to talk about something, but that's not what this training's for. We have other times that we can do those things built into our day. So yeah, just really, and I think the SALT calendar helps us stay focused on that because we are preset. We know what we're going to need to train on, and really if that needs to fit in a little announcement bubble, that's fine, but it's not going to be our topic for the day. Any thoughts on that, Kate?
Yeah, I think that fluidity is just so important. And we're working from the calendar. And I was just thinking, Liz, as you were saying that too, there are things that come up, and I think as leaders, remembering if this is coming up, if this just became an issue because we have 15 phone calls from it, what could we do as leaders moving forward to better prepare? And that maybe, next year we're actually we're gonna add this as part of our SALT training on an application day, and we're gonna do it a few weeks earlier because we didn't say what we needed to in advance
we
to
did
our
not
team
set
to
them
prepare
up well.
them for success. So again, that's the benefit of having a framework to work from and just paying attention and being humble enough to consider how you might need to pivot or, let's stay the course, because when we zoom out, we remember the why, and we know the reasons why we're doing this, and not losing that vision for it. And that was one more thing I was thinking of is, regardless of where you start and the beginning of this for you, and it doesn't need to look necessarily like it looks for Coastal Shores. It's not one size fits all. I think there's some great framework, but just remembering your why you're doing that, because there are days where we don't know where we're going to find the time to get what we want to accomplish done to prepare well. But when we think about the impact that we're hoping to have with our team, and we see the fruit of those seeds that have been planted, that really does help build the fire behind it.
Yeah, so good. And I think just where we started and we saw a need for this, we felt pretty disorganized, that people were doing things their way and not, what we felt was our brand or our core values. There was some division in the company just between the different branches that were happening. And we felt disconnected from our field team because we never got time with them except when we had an issue and we needed to bring it to them. And then ultimately, I feel like most business owners would agree that their business is more than just whatever their service is. They want a bigger impact than, we want a bigger impact than just mowing lawns. We want a bigger impact than just planting trees. And of course, that brings a lot of fulfillment to the beautiful place that we live. But truly, we want to provide a place that we can empower our team members and we can see their families and generations changed because they've worked for us. And I think, regardless of the industry you're in, I feel like most people can relate to that. You want to better your team. You want to bring life to them and their family. And this is one of the ways that we can do that for them. Whether they stay with us or not, they're going to have these skills to carry with them. In our leadership or our team training, we're hoping to give them things that they can take home and implement with their family, maybe things they've never heard of or generationally just wasn't for them, but now they can say, hey, we talked about this at work today and I'd love to implement this with our family. And therefore 50 years down the line, their kids are better dads because they work here. Or, they can take home a skill and teach it to their family. And that really changes the direction and their projected path. So that's another big heart behind our SALT is just, it's not just so we can have a better company. It's so that we can impact the lives of the people that work here well beyond our walls and our reach. We always have this picture in our head, or at least I do, of we're one little dot on a map, but there's just such a spider web of the reach that we have because of where our team members live and where their kids live and where their kids live. And really it's just this spider web that keeps going out. So how can we make sure that we have the biggest impact on that spider web, not just this little pinpoint that we have on a map that's the low country region that we mow. So there definitely is a deeper heart to SALT there too. And I think everyone can relate to that, right? We all want to have purpose and we want to change things for the better. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic, guys. And what I heard was, preparation from, your calendar to building out for the entire year, and being intentional with, a month before, 2 weeks before, as far as speakers and handouts. And then I also just heard, don't think that it has to be perfect. Just jump in and start someplace, and get it going. And then just love the whole idea around why are you doing this? Not just to get more business or for the business to be better, but the impact that you're going to have on your staff's lives and ultimately generations to come, which is just fantastic. So thank you guys so much for coming and sharing this. It was fantastic getting to see you guys in your presentation at our live event. And of course, all the marketing materials that you use. For those of you listening or watching, SALT training is so much more than what they touched on today. And some of us have even had the pleasure of sitting through some of those. So it's pretty exciting what you guys are doing. And I know that you all are definitely affecting generations and generations to come. So thank you all for that. And for any of you all that would like to check out Coastal Shores, Kevin, of course, is going to put all their social media platforms on there so you can like them and follow what they are doing. But thanks, guys, so much for coming out.
Thanks, Patrice.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say one more quick thing too.
Please do.
Our area, we would love to have you come to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
So know that invitation is always open.
Okay.
Literally, if you reach out either through BOP, Patrice, just send them my way, or reach out to our office.
And same thing with any of our SALT resources. We're an open book as far as sharing.
Wow, you guys are amazing.
So we are more than happy to share our agendas and our slides and kind of, what our icebreakers are, different things like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So yes, guys, you heard they are offering all of these materials and resources. So if for some reason that is something that you'd like to take advantage of, definitely get a hold of us at BOP and we'll get you connected. But that is a wrap, guys, for Tuesday's Tools on Purpose. So enjoy your new tool, SALT training. But remember that every small action can lead to big results. So what action are you going to take today in regards to SALT training? Make sure to write it down and then go and implement. Now, for those of you all that are tired of living in chaos and you are ready to actually start prioritizing working on your business instead of in it, I would love to set up a discovery call to learn more about your business. And then together we can determine a path towards freedom for you and your team. Kevin is going to put a QR code up for that discovery call, or you can just simply email me at patrice@mybusinessonpurpose.com. And then last but not least, we always have our healthy business owner assessment if you are brave enough to take it. Kevin again is going to put that QR code up there and then also that web address that you can visit to take that test. I will tell you all, a 0 is not a good score, but a 40 is a perfect score. So go find out how healthy your business is. Otherwise, I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks so much.